Oh, hello. Welcome to the college bookstore. Yes, I remember you from last year. Not much has changed. You're here to pick up? Fantastic. What is your name? Sinclair. Oh, yes. Sinclair. I remember you from last year, pre-med. Third-year student. Fantastic. Oh, let me just get your order. This is it. Yes, same old creaky chair. Sinclair. Evaluating research in academic journals. Very nice. 4th edition. Just make sure all of the relevant pages are here. What's relevant? Heck if I know. Very interesting book. I don't envy you reading all those academic journals. But only one more year left, right? Then we have Martini's Atlas of the Human Body. You did not warn me there's pictures of actual human bodies in here. I'm just gonna go ahead and assume everything is here for you. Just don't show me any more of those pictures, huh? An introduction to community health. Psychiatric rehabilitation. Mortality. I see you like reading all the fun stuff. Teenage births. Family planning. Well, Sinclair, I'm glad that these are yours. But I see something very exciting here. Flashcards for the MCAT. Are you planning on taking your entrance exam into medical school this year? Depends on how the studying goes. I hear that. These are new. I've never seen them before. Let's see what they look like. Oh, they're color coded. Pick a random one. The rate at which work is done. Oh, gotcha. Potential difference. Oh, there's 2. Not like I would have known the answer anyways. Potential difference. The difference in electric potential between 2 points in an electric field, also called voltage. I never quite understood why, in order to be a doctor, you have to have such complex understanding of physics. To me, the two never really went together. Let's try another one. Power, the rate at which work is done. I like that. I'll tell you, at this bookstore, our power, it's pretty low. What else do we have here? Behavioral sciences. That's interesting. Biochemistry. Biology. General chemistry. And let me guess, the last is going to be organic chemistry. Oh, it sure is. Oh, Sinclair, I applaud you on your adventure, and only one more year left until medical school, right? That's the plan. Fantastic. Allow me to give these to you. There you are. Let me just mark off. Sinclair, hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you. You as well. Welcome to the bookstore. Can I have your name, please? McGee. Ah, yes, McGee. Second year, philosophy major. Fantastic. Let me grab your books. Luckily, a bit of a lighter stack, though I doubt easy. Let's see what you have here, McGee. A Beginner's Guide to the Study of Religion. Geertz, Max Faber, Victor Turner, Emil Durkheim, William James. I am cheating, of course. I've read this one before. It's not as you would think, McGee. It's about why we have religion, not necessarily different types. It's incredibly philosophical. It explores the human need for religion. I'm sure you'll find it very interesting. Experiencing the world's religions, this undoubtedly is going to make up for any shortcomings of the other class. Reform, Judaism, Shinto, the Japanese, I don't think they like it being called a religion, but it's the Bushido warrior way. Taoism, Confucianism, Buddhism, Hinduism, indigenous religions. Now that will be a fascinating chapter. A powwow provides opportunities for Indian nations to share their dances, to pass age-old stories. And then, of course, understanding religion. all seems to be there. And kind of funny enough, apparently this book was made for mass trade as well as 3-hole or 2-hole punching and binders, because you can see the holes right there in the middle for it. Kind of odd. I haven't seen that before. And well, I work with books. In pursuit of an orthodox Christian epistemology. Now, this is a deep, deep book. Very familiar with the work of Immanuel Kant. This entire book talks about Kantianism, Kantian neo-orthodoxy, dialectism, and a little difficult to digest. It discusses analytic and synthetic judgments, a priori argumentation, and it's a 1 page at a time kind of read. Epistemology, yeah, that means the study of why we know what we know. Knowledge at its very core. It's, like I said, quite a read. Is this it for you today? Fantastic. Well, let me give these to you. There you go. Cross you off the board. Have a great day. Next. Name, please. Hawthorne. Hawthorne, Hawthorne, Hawthorne. Ah, yes, yes. Hawthorne. Kinesiology, otherwise known as exercise science. 2nd year. It feels like the 4th. I understand that. Give me 1 second. I'll have your books to you. Oh goodness. These are heavy. Let's see what you have here. The American College of Sports Medicine, ACSM guidelines for exercise testing and prescription. Oh wow. Treadmill protocols, upper body exercise testing. Boy, that's a lot of references. Exercise testing as a screening tool for coronary artery disease. ST segment elevation, heart rate responses, exercise prescription. That looks like some very complex reading. Strength training. This seems to be more in line with my understanding of the subject. National Strength and Conditioning Association. Muscle fibers. Looks like stained glass windows, doesn't it? Slow twitch muscle fibers, fast twitch muscle fibers, static, concentric. Remember all of these muscle names. I don't know how you do it. How do you memorize these? Are they the biceps, the triceps? What's extension? What's flexion? What's the lateral movements? I don't know how you do it. It's impressive. Foundation for muscle growth. Carbs. Now, let me know when you get to that chapter. That's a chapter I can get down with. First Aid CPR by the American Heart Association. Now, I might be a little bit older than you, but I remember having to take this same exact class, having a very similar workbook. I remember having to do CPR on the dummy. And no, I'm not talking about my classmates, although a couple of them probably could have counted. And I remember the last test for my class was a infant, doing CPR on an infant. And these AEDs, they used to be all self-run or run by the individual, and they had enough problems of people shocking themselves, because if you're touching that person that the AED is shocking, you're gonna get shocked. So they decided to basically make it a robot which can decide if and when it's necessary and then do it itself. It's interesting, but replaces the need for us, quite frankly. But yes, I remember doing the CPR on the infant, and you have to hold the baby like a football with its head in your hands and smack the back, because if you put pressure on the chest, it collapses the ribs and can actually kill the child. So it's very important to do it from the back, and it's a very interesting course. I remember my teacher, he used to say, now every time that you put your lips on somebody to do a CPR, they have a natural reflex, and that reflex is vomiting. Very, very gross. But he said, if you ever try to be the good Samaritan that helps somebody, you're gonna get covered in vomit. I was talking to a medical student earlier, and we all have kind of a gross job, I'm not gonna lie. Lastly, introduction to Kinesiology, which is a very large and heavy book, but I always used to love these introductory books, because anybody who's passionate about learning would find any introductory class very interesting, including myself. Health and fitness professions. So, you have a couple of really interesting books here. Tell me, does this look like everything is here to you? It does. Okay. Then I'm going to go ahead, cross you off the list. Here are your books. Enjoy. Next. I'm well. Thank you for asking. How are you? Fantastic. A name, please. Donaldson. You know, I'm sorry I asked. You've been coming here for 4 years now. I should know it, right? Great with faces, not so much with names. But I can tell you what you do. You're a nutrition major, am I right? Awesome. Let me get you your books. There we go. Another heavy stack. All right, Donaldson. Let's see what you got this year. Exercise Physiology. Another very thick book from the American Council on Exercise. Oh, I always like the illustrations. Oh, there's an adrenal gland for you. Nothing like turning the page and seeing a common bile duct. Interesting. Programming considerations. This was, let me see, this was a class that you put off to the last year. I understand that. And then understanding nutrition. Oh wow. Well, if your dietary allowances, then no doubt nobody is doing. USDA food guide, daily values. How much sugar does the average American consume compared to what they should consume? You know what? I don't want to know. Oh, that's lovely. Carbohydrates, sugars, starches, fibers. There's your nutrition label right there. Well, Donaldson, if nothing else, you will have experienced exercise physiology just by carrying those books to your car and every day thereafter. I see something here though that's very exciting. The GRE study guide. The graduate exam to get into graduate school. Tell me, what do you want to do? You want to continue on in nutrition. That's fantastic. The GRE, geometry, algebra, not to dissuade you with the GRE, but I never could understand why they want you to be able to know algebra to get into a program for something like nutrition. I never quite understood it. So these are your quantitative reasoning, or your mathematicals. And then here's your verbal reasoning. Analyzing issues, writing answers, understanding questions. One thing that I love about these books are the practice questions and the practice exams. How exciting. Well, Donaldson, this might be our last time seeing each other if you go to another college for your program, but I wish you all the luck in the world. Is this everything that you ordered? Fantastic. Well, let me walk around and give you these books. Okay. Donaldson complete. Hello, come in. What is your name? Lopez. Oh my. Lopez, you are a double major, I see, in English and psychology, is that correct? Incredible. Third year too. Seems like you're surviving okay. Apparently. I understand that. Give me 1 second. Bit of a light stack. Yes, a lot of the books that you get are online these days. Understandable. It's certainly a lot lighter to carry your computer or your iPad. Let's see what we got. We have English 1010 from Pearson for composition and writing. Looks like there's some short stories, perhaps some scientific writing as well. Very interesting. The thing that always got me, like, looking at these things is stuff. It's not common sense. People, they read things, but do they understand it? People read things, but do they really know how to? And I remember taking my writing courses, and they teach you how to read, how to actually look at something and maximize your retention, and also just staying away from wasting brain cells on this stuff that you don't need to remember. I might be overstepping my bounds, but I remember a story about Albert Einstein, and it could be totally allegorical and made up, but there was a story that said that Albert Einstein had a friend, and that's not the made up part. He probably did have a friend, but Albert Einstein had a phone, and his friend had a phone as well, and he asked Albert what his number is, and Albert Einstein said, "I don't know." And his friend looked at him and said, "You are the smartest man in the world, and you don't know your own number." And Einstein said to him, "The brain is not for storage. The brain is for creation." And that story always stuck with me. And when I see books like that teach you how to read and write, to where you're not just memorizing a bunch of stuff, but you are maximizing what you do have. I don't know. It always makes me think of that story. And then we have Psych. And this is seems to be a bit of a introductory psychology book. You've no doubt done your general educations, and now you're getting into more of your stuff. I always find these pictures in here just absolutely fascinating. And then I see something here too that's pretty exciting. Flashcards, and these are for the LSAT, the law school admission test. You want to be an attorney. That's fantastic. Do you have any idea of what type of law that you would like to practice? Maybe some constitutional law. That's fantastic. The LSAT is it's a very different test. It's kind of an IQ test, and I don't think it's the greatest predictor of success in law school, or success as an attorney. But there's the logic games, there's a writing section, and of course, remember, and if you don't know this already, half of the test doesn't even count. It is exploratory to future tests. So you don't know which sections don't count. You just have to give your 100% the entire test, and just hope that the test part that you thought that you didn't do very good on doesn't count. Logical reasoning, logic games, grammar. Very important. Very important. Well, does this look like everything is here and accounted for? Fantastic. Well, I will get these to you. There you go. And I will mark this as complete. Yes, you have a good day as well. Next, Williams. Oh, and law school. First year, right? I remember seeing you a couple weeks ago. I think I remember what you were here for. Oh, yes. The manual guides. When you were here a couple weeks ago, I remember you stressing a little bit about how many books you had and how difficult they looked, and I told you about these manual guides. Oh, I'm glad you thought of me when you started your educational experience. Like I told you before, the Emmanuel Guides are legal outlines that cover all of your first year classes. The contracts, common law review, the uniform commercial code, unilateral contracts, mutual assent, acceptance by performance, non-economic benefits, all of that stuff, restatements. Oh, I see you ordered all of them as well. Torts, which is personal injuries, assaults, car accidents, civil actions, market share, joint and several liability, the reasonable person standard. Oh, and it's even better, you have a student who annotated this before, so some people they don't like books that have been drawn in, but a lot of times those notes are actually helpful, and they surmise and put into a golden line what the paragraph is communicating. Torts was always everybody's favorite class, and on that note, everybody's least favorite class was property, but property is very, very important. It's something that affects everybody, so you just have to get through the future interest, easements, fee simples, life estates, transfer of easement, government properties, restricted waterways, secretion. What is trespass to your rights? What is a blighted structure? Common law and statutory. It's all in here. And then lastly, civil procedure. This is the coup de grace of how a lawsuit goes from A to Z. The plaintiffs, the defendants, the statute of limitations, restrictions, pleadings, depositions, interrogatories. How do you choose your courtroom? How do you pick your venue? And how do you know if you have personal or subject matter jurisdiction over somebody? There is so much in this book that you have to learn as a student, and the second you get out, pass that bar exam, you'll forget all of it because you'll never need it. Does this look like everything that you placed an order for? Fantastic. Well, I'm glad I was able to help out. And again, these are very, very heavy, so let me walk them over to you. All right. Williams, checking you off. Have a great day. Next. Yes, it is a beautiful day. Name, please. Smith. Smith, second year, psychology PhD student. Is that correct? Fantastic. Let me retrieve your books. The Consequences of Ideas by R.C. Sproul. The consequences of free thought, thinking, evolution of theory, modern thought, and archaic thought. Plato, St. Thomas Aquinas, Descartes, Immanuel Kant, Sigmund Freud. Such great names. Descartes is no doubt one of the greatest fathers of modern thought that we have. The Epicureans, Karl Marx, utopian, interesting theology. Next, the American Psychological Association, APA, 7th edition. Now, you already know what this is. All the rules for all of the papers that you gotta do. How do you indent? Where do you indent? What margin should your papers be? Yawn and snore. And then the big boy. Handbook of Social Psychology. Is that what you would like to be, a social psychologist? You want to be a teacher? Fantastic. Now, this reads just like a thesaurus. It is thick, and there are no pictures, so obviously, that's not my kind of a read. Kidding. Is this all that you need from me today? It is? Fantastic. Well, I'm gonna go ahead, slide this over to you. There. Hope you have a great day, and it looks like I will see you in a week or two when that book that you ordered comes in. I'll see you very soon. Have a good day. Thank you. Next. Name, please. Brabson. Second-year law student. Fantastic. Allow me to get your things. Looks like we have you could build a house out of these things. They are so enormous and heavy. Constitutional law, the bedrock of our society, our penal system, your rights and mine, and Casebook Connect. Access it online so you don't have to carry this everywhere. I highly recommend it. And the Blue Book. I've seen enough of these. Uniform system citation. This is your holy Bible of legal writing, and just as requested, we had it annotated for you. So we have our first one, citation of the Supreme Court, no doubt very useful. The dark pages, which every law student knows is not the most commonly cited section, but has a lot of shorthands for your various books, shorthands for cases and courts. we have your Tennessee section for your shorthand reporters. We also have your shorthand for state names. And then lastly, the index. We place our annotations knowing fully well that if you miss a single basic and totally inconsequential detail, that you can get failed from the course. Trust me, I've met a few law professors. I know the deal. Oh, you're very welcome. Tell me, is this everything that you need? Fantastic. Well, let me slide this over to you. Take that. And remember, if you need anything else, come back and see us. Have a good day. It looks like that's all that I have today. So I will go back and restock, get ready for tomorrow. Another good day in the books. Fantastic.